Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to my world, my podcast. Today, our special guest is Dr. Yaron Seidman. Before I get into the questioning and ask the doctor, I want to mention that I was in his office. When you walk in, it puts you in a certain mood. He has a beautiful mural on the wall created by renowned artists and sculptors, Jakob Heller. Let's start you in the mood, but I'm going to let the doctor tell you the rest. Doctor, you have been as a herbalist and acupuncturist for over 30 years and the founder of the Hunyuan Life Center. Can you tell us a little about it and some of your background?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Amos. It's a pleasure to be here with you in your podcast. And I was happy to meet you here in the center and show you around, but maybe just to let everyone know, we have here a wellness center. It's called Hunyuan Life. This is the name that I gave to a method that I developed over the last 30 years in Chinese medicine that talks about the life vitality, the strength of the person. So there are many different treatments, modalities within this system, but they're all collectively called Hunyuan. So this center, I call it Hunyuan Life Wellness Center. So in this center, we have different rooms with different modalities, treatment modalities. But at the end, the goal is very simple. We want to help everyone become happier, healthier, and stronger, which are three different things that everybody needs. So this is like in a nutshell what we're doing here.
I got to ask you, maybe it's a silly question. Is there a difference between wellness and medicine?
Actually, well, thank you for asking this question. It is a very interesting topic. Oftentimes the lines are blurry between wellness and health and medicine and treatment. Like it's not clear. So maybe I could clarify what's the difference between wellness and treatment or medicine. It's like this. When we are born, normally we are born healthy with 100% health. And if we do all the right things in life, and if the circumstances are perfect, our health is at optimal shape until the end of our life, 100 years or more. But of course, this is not real life. There's a lot of stress from all directions. The food is not good. The sleeping habits are not good. There's a lot of aggravation from work or family or otherwise. And then our health starts to decline. The initial phase of decline from, let's say, 100% to 90, 80, 70%, this is the place where we tend to ignore it because the symptoms, the signs are not severe. I'm not really on the floor with disease, something terrible. I just like my energy is not so good. Maybe something hurt me a little bit. Maybe the digestion is not so good. Maybe I'm a little bit constipated. Could be many different things that we tend to ignore because it's not severe. When we keep on declining to 50%, 40, 30%, this is when systems start to collapse, and then you have severe things. The difference between wellness and medicine is that wellness, we hope to catch people at the initial decline. When they went down to 90 or 80 or 70 or even 60, they feel not 100%, but it's not terrible, very acute disease. At this time, you can do all kind of holistic modality and bring the person up again from 60 to 70 to 80 and make them the way they should be. This is called wellness. Medicine and treatment with medicine, including hospitals, surgeries and things, it's when you got to 30, 20%, you have to have something very powerful, very strong that has to remedy it right now. Otherwise, you get to zero and nobody wants to get to zero. So I just want to lay out what's the difference between wellness and wellness treatment and medical treatment is the severity. And of course, the lines are blurry. So you can be at a very low stage where the disease is quite progressive.
Right.
And wellness will still be beneficial. It's not like you cannot use wellness, but at that time you need stronger intervention. So that this is when wellness will work with mainstream medicine to do strong intervention plus holistic wellness. But the real goal of wellness is to catch it early on, not when it gets to severe disease, and bring it back up. So you actually never get to a disease. This is the definition of wellness and wellness treatment.
What experience as an acupuncturist and herbalist you stand as, I mean, yes, you practice what you're doing. You also give lectures. I understand you give it all over the world, teaching your art to other doctors, other people. In addition, you're also, you write many books, and I was in your office, you're reading my books. As a matter of fact, one of the books, and I'm not going to try to read the name on top, but it's The Last Heart of Medicine. I can't read Chinese, but here's the book. I started reading it, very interesting. And if anybody wants to buy it, of course, they can come, when they come to you can, at the end, we will show how they can get a hold of you. What would you consider the average patient or your average patient that comes in for what kind of symptoms, and what have you done that you had good results where the people were really happy?
Well, for many years in the past, I specialized in the treatment of infertility. So for almost 20 years there, I was exclusively treating infertility couples, and I had more than 500 babies conceived naturally with my method, despite failing IVFs and modern conventional treatments. Also, my doctoral degree in Chinese medicine, I specialized in infertility, and I spent a year in an IVF clinic as part of my training. So that was then. But then, because of the success, and there's so many, miraculous stories, many people start referring me their family members for other things, including many, many difficult diseases. They asked me if I could help that as well. In the last 10, 15 years, I started to treat many other things, not exclusively treating, but also helping patients with cancer and other things that are very difficult to treat in conjunction with mainstream medicine, not instead of mainstream. And so, for example, I had a couple of weeks ago a patient coming here for a retreat. I'm offering in the center retreats for people from out of town. So they come here, they stay in the hotel, and they come for like few days intensive treatment. She came with the stage 4 breast cancer, undergoing medical treatments for 5 years already at the Mayo Clinic. But she felt after the last immunotherapy session that she simply had no more energy. She called me before and she said, I feel like I'm dead. I can't live anymore. So she came here. She did 5 days of intensive fun things. If it's vibroacoustic and sauna and infrared and all kind of thing, acupuncture. And she went back after the treatment to the Mayo Clinic, and the tumor, the very large tumor, shrunk significantly. And it's not that she's cured, but you could see that within a few days she actually had significant results, and she's still undergoing treatment and conventional treatment, that is. But that few days that gave her energy, where she said all the swelling subsided, bowel movements started going again, literally gave her hope. It's because before that she kind of lost hope, and when you lose hope, it's very detrimental for the treatment. And now she kind of, with the renewed energy, renewed hope. So I think the prognosis is very positive. So this is just one example from the last 2 weeks.
That's beautiful. It must make you really feel good when you see progress.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to you depressed and says, doctor, I'm weak, I can't, and then they come back to you and say, oh, thank God I met you, and what happened, what you did, with her.
Well, I can share with you, since you pointed to this book, the Hunyuan Shinfa, that part of my medicine over the years, I was always not satisfied. I always needed more, because some diseases are just so difficult to treat, and you cannot be in a status quo. It's so difficult. You have to know more. You have to go deeper. So over the years, I got into other area, not just acupuncture and herbs. One of them is called a heart method. So this book is called Hunyuan Shinfao, the Hunyuan heart method. That's what it means in Chinese. And the subtitle is The Lost Heart of Medicine. So this is a huge topic, but I got into a category within Chinese medicine, certain school that is 300-year-old, called Huayuan. You don't need to remember the name, but it's a 300-year-old school that researched for several centuries the implications of the heart, the emotions, not the cardiology, the heart cardiology
Right.
type, but the emotions, the spiritual side, and how does that contribute to disease. And I've been working on this for 15 years, translating their books and researching it for thousands of hours. So when this patient that I just mentioned came for a retreat, it wasn't just physical treatment. We were doing this heart myth, and that really lifted her and gave her hope. And this is in difficult diseases is critical. If you neglect the heart, the emotional side of the patient, or you just send the patient to some therapy, like so someone else will take care of it, many times the results are not as good as they could have. But if the heart of the patient renews, like the hope comes back and the happiness, even under a disease that is very difficult, if this energy comes back, the chances of succeeding are tremendously higher. So that's what happened with this patient as well, not just physical treatment. There was some of this heart method every day, talking, teaching her things and all.
People don't realize they had the most powerful tool right in here, and you actually bring it out. Besides the acupuncture and with the herbs, the kind of food that you eat, because we really are products of the kind of foods we eat, especially obesity, which takes me to the next subject. I'm the chairman and the founder of Children's Obesity Foundation, which is a 501(c) nonprofit organization. We have in the US over 250 million of us that are overweight and obese. 25 million are our kids. And there's no end in sight. They go to a doctor here, take a pill. Let's have a surgery. In your field, what could you offer those kids and the parents? I'm not going to say the old timers because they're going to have to weigh, no matter what you're going to tell them, they always know better. So I'm talking about the parents and the kids because really the kind of foods we are eating, we are feeding our kids to death. The parents love the kids. They want, hey, I want another ice cream. I want another ice cream. I want another chocolate. I want a Big Mac. I want another Big Mac. They mean it. They love them. They want to give them the best, but really they're hurting them. With your method of treating, what could you do with your program to help those people with their obesity?
Okay, so I mean this topic is very important, and I think the work that you do with your foundation is immensely important. And I would say when it comes to obesity, some things are well researched and known. Some things in my method are actually not so known. So I will try maybe to highlight more the things that are not known. The things that are very well known is the relationship between calories and weight gain. So if you eat too much calories, it converts into fat in the body. And if you don't exercise enough, you don't burn calories. This is common knowledge for everyone. We don't need to elaborate on that more.
Right.
However, something that I could add here, which is very critical, but ignored totally by the mainstream when it comes to obesity, the components of the emotional side and why does that causes obesity. And so I'll explain how I mean. I mean, it's a big topic and our time is very limited, but I want to explain to our audience
That's okay. It's
what it actually
important. Let's
means.
take the time for that.
So there is what we call, in our language, in Hunyuan, the primal instinct. The primal instinct is when we are inside the womb before we are born, like a fetus, an infant inside the womb, the baby is in a state of unity, we call it. The heart of the baby is operating already. The emotions are there. Everything is there. But life in a way is beautiful because the food is coming automatically through the umbilical cord. I'm totally shielded from the world. I don't even know night and day. Don't see anybody. And I'm in a state of bliss in unity with my mom inside the belly. When I come out of the womb at birth and the umbilical cord is cut and I'm separated from the mother, the first thing that has to happen to the heart and to the emotion is a state of unhappiness. This state of unhappiness or dislike help my body trigger the responses that it needs in order to breathe and survive in nature. So when I'm inside the womb, I don't need to think about breathing. I don't need to get food. So I don't need to want it either. But when you cut the cord and I come out of the womb and I'm separated, I'm my own person. If I feel content, I don't breathe. And if I don't breathe, after a few minutes, I die. It wasn't like how it was 10 minutes ago inside the womb. Over there, I didn't breathe and I didn't die. Here, if I don't breathe, I die. So the first trigger that we need to have in the heart, in the emotion spectrum, is I'm not happy, not good, not good. The oxygen and the nutrients are not coming anymore because they cut the cord. This is called the primal instinct, that everything is deficient. And because of that, it triggers me to breathe. But after I breathe, I feel the surplus and then I can relax. And I relax and I feel good and I exhale. And after 10, 20 seconds again, or 5 seconds, there's no oxygen. So I feel not good, not good. This duality of like and don't like, happy and unhappy, starts at birth. And it what helps me survive in nature. But the first instinct is to feel unhappy, not to feel happy. When you cut the cord, I have to feel unhappy. This is the reality. Now, if we nurture the child in a way that is very hugging and warm, it has nothing to do with food, and the child feels more and more comfortable and confident, their feeling unsatisfied or shortage is less. They feel more happy, more abundance. They don't feel so short all the time. If I create shortage, though, in attention, in warmth, in love, in anything, I could compensate it with food because every time when I food, just like when I inhale, it gives temporary relief. More calories, more things come into the body, and the heart says, oh, wow, that feels good. This is this emotional eating side that actually is the root for obesity. Because if someone does not feel shortage, many times you tell a child, here, eat this. And they say, no, I don't want to. They throw the plate. It's not like that they would eat whatever you give them all the time. Unless you create shortage, a feeling of shortage in the heart, you can keep on giving food and they will eat more. And especially if it's sweet, especially if these things that the food industry calls craveability. They produce a food with craveability index to sell more of it. So this craveability issue, that's a whole other story with the food industry. But I'm saying this is something that I try to help people in addition to physical treatment. So like when kids come here for obesity, I have red light therapy and all kind of things, even different types of herbs that physically can help the metabolism. But there are many methods to help physically the obesity, to increase metabolism, including exercise and other things. But this emotional side, if we neglect it, it will be very, very difficult to cure obesity. The food will compensate for the deficiency in the emotions. And that's why sometimes, of course, when kids have problem with eating, they do go to all kind of therapies to try to address it. So it's not just physical, but this is something that I just wanted to explain, that if we could solve that, it will help obesity a lot.
Well, what it really means when you're depressed or you're down, you want to have some pleasure. So you have ice cream, you have any kind of food just to satisfy your need. And
Yeah.
it's part
And note like when you feel depressed or anxious or this, you will not eat a broccoli. It will always be something with high cravability index, very sweet or very something that satisfy the desire, not something bland. So this is the root of the problem. These foods typically will make you gain weight more than
Or if, let's say, I would weigh 350 pounds, I'm 15 years old, everybody now, some of the shows on television, they're trying to promote obesity, fat, literally, when you see them, and they're protesting because somebody says, hey, lose weight. I would come to your office as a doctor. I can't help it. I'm always hungry. I got to eat. I'm your patient. How would you handle me?
Well, I mean, the first thing is to do an evaluation to find the source of the problem. Sometimes the source of the problem are the parents. Sometimes,
99%.
yeah. So sometimes, they create a situation, either giving too much food, or creating emotional anxiety, trying to compensate. They feel that like you mentioned, taking care of their kids as if they give them more, it's better. So these issues needs to be addressed. I would give them different types of treatment that I think can help the metabolism. It's herbs, infrared, red light therapy, and other things, hot stone therapies. If it's emotionally based, I would offer them treatments like vibroacoustic therapy, which is low frequency sound waves that resonate with the brain and they help the brain chemistry and things like that.
Right.
So there are different modalities that you can use physically to help. But the most important is to try to find out really what's the source of the problem. Why? I mean, some kids don't even eat too much and they do have obesity problem. And that totally put in perspective this idea that you have to eat a lot of calories to be obese. So some people don't eat, actually try to restrain their diet very much and they're still obese, and which is very weird. Like, how do you gain weight and you don't eat excessive amount of calories? So there are all types of cases. Not everyone is very straightforward, that you eat a lot of calories and that's why you are obese. Sometimes the emotional component is critical.
Do you find a lot of it really goes back to the parents?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not talking about when you can have physically diseases where you can actually become obese, but where mostly psychologically people. And how would you handle the parents? You can't tell the parents, sit down over here now, listen to me.
well, I would say every case is individual. It's not the same.
Right.
Like, I had a couple of days ago someone who was obese, an adult. He had cancer as a child, had treatment, and since then he
Right.
started to have an issue with food. His wife sent him to me for other things, and he told me in our session, if my wife would tell me to come here for doing something with the food, I would not come. Like, on the psychological level, I would definitely not come.
Right.
Totally resisting. But I would say every case is an individual. Need to find out really what's the cause. When it comes to parents, need to understand it's not a blame game. It's your fault.
Right.
But rather, it's more like a work in progress. The parents need to learn how to improve their wellness and how to do it with their child. I need to teach them, and education is at least half of
it. It has to be the whole family. It has to be the whole family, not just the kid. It's educating the parents and the children to a better lifestyle.
But it's definitely not blaming the parents. You
Right.
have to nurture the parents. You need to show them the right way. The parents do the best that they can. It's not like they overfeed the kid to be abusive. They just love him too much, or her. So just need to teach them.
Doctor, we're going to have to wind up because of the time restraints.
Sure.
Thank you for being my guest today. Would you tell our audience how they can reach you, find out more about you? At the end of the show, we will put a caption in it, how they can, but can you tell our people, my audience?
Well, our center is in Boca Raton, but we have retreats, people coming from all over. So they fly here and sleep here if they're not local. But there's a website, hunyuan.org, hunyuan.org. They can find all the information there and book their services or retreats.
Well, I will tell you one thing. To get people into your office, you can charge them $1 just to walk in and look at the artwork and to be impressed instead of going to a museum. Secondly, what I would like, if you don't mind, take pictures of your office maybe a little video. So I'll have my producer, Deborah, put it at the end so people can see even the picture and the atmosphere when you walked in, because I was very impressed. And I would like to talk to you more about obesity, and maybe we can work something out together for the Children's Obesity Foundation and help save our new generation for a healthy lifestyle. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much, Doctor.
It's super, super important. Thank you for having me.
And I would like to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So welcome to the Hunyuan Life Wellness Center. This is our waiting room with the beautiful wall art by the artist Yaakov Heller. And so when clients come in, they just sit here, relax, free coffee, tea, snacks. And then when we walk in, there are several different rooms. There's a short massage chair for 20 minutes massage. We have the forest room where we can do acupuncture, herbal medicine, consultation, but also red light therapy that you can see here. And a very unique, so we can do here red light therapy with PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field, and acupuncture and near infrared therapy. So it's a combination of very successful treatments in one treatment. We go to the next room. It's called the river room, and in the river room we also do PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field, but we have other body work here, a massage therapist, skincare therapist, hot stone therapy. And in this room you can see a beautiful mural of New England, of a river and foliage. Notice that the ambience, the atmosphere is very serene. When people come in, they feel very relaxed. In the next room, which we call the mountain room, we have two different things. The one on the right is called a V6 intelligent massage bed. When you lie on it, this technology scans your back, the length of the back, the curvature of the spine, if there are any tension, and it tailors a massage specifically for your back. The bed on the left is an In Harmony Sound Lounge. It does a vibroacoustic therapy. Vibroacoustic happens when the person listens to music. You can see at the top of the bed there's a headset. But inside the bed itself there are speakers, special speakers that are called tactile transducers. And they can pick up in the soundtrack low frequency sound wave and convert them to vibration. That's why it's called vibroacoustic. And this low frequency sound wave resonate with the brain and the central nervous system and have a lot of amazing effect on the central nervous system, from memory to many other things. In the next room, which is called the ocean room, we have a unique equipment here. It's an infrared sauna, which is a really, really good infrared. It's a full spectrum, near infrared, medium, and far infrared combined into one system with zero EMF emissions. So this is one of the unique technologies that have a superior infrared technology. The infrared waves go to different depths into the body and heal muscles and bones, circulation, and other things. This sauna also have halo or soul therapy. So in the back of the sauna there's a special machine called a halo generator. In there is medical grade salt. The machine grinds it to microscopic particles and blows it into the chamber. This creates negatively charged ion, just like by the beach, and that helps the breathing process, increases the amount of oxygen absorption in the blood, clears the lungs, rejuvenate the skin, and on health benefits. There's a beautiful mural of Greek islands, Mykonos. And further in the center, there's something we call the cave, which is our bathroom. There's a beautiful calligraphy by my teacher who passed more than 10 years ago in China, Master Feng. This is the poem, the translation of the poem. And just to show you a quick look, in our bathroom we have beautiful peacocks on the walls. And in a nutshell, this is the Hunyuan Life Wellness Center. Thank you for watching.